All right, we're almost live. La, la, la. All right, we are live. So, imagine.
Marla, we meet again. I love how I'm getting to see you at all the events.
I know, right? I'm like, goodness gracious. I was like, oh, look at that. You're going to be in the virtual intimacy tree, going to be in the shadows and light. How are you liking all of the virtual festivals and everything?
I think it's cool to see how people are doing things. I mean, we had such a successful Firewoman retreat in May, and we learned a ton. And I've gotten to present at, I got to present at Sex Down South with you. And then, we were at Virtual Intimacy Retreat, Shadows and Light. There's so many great events that are happening. And I think it's stretching people's creativity and looking at what's possible. So I
Yeah.
love it.
Yes.
I mean, of course, it's not the same as being in person. I love being in person, but it's a different ballgame. I think it's just a different thing. And we have to think of it as not a replacement, but as an additional way we get to connect and do things.
Yes, I agree. I agree. We are always like, I feel like right in line with thinking around like hope and thinking around like the possibilities of our future and the things that we have to work with in order to maintain our happiness, our pleasure, our goals, our sexuality, all of these different things. And so I was really, really excited for you to actually go into pleasure activism because the last Firewoman retreat was really fun. I got to teach dirty talk, and there were so many people on the call. It was absolutely amazing, like having this bond and having my little my little team, my little group. Yeah, family group and talking with them. So it was really a really great, like intimate connection. And so when you brought up pleasure activism and how that is going to be implemented in the retreat, I guess maybe you should tell people like what motivated you to do the pleasure activism for this Firewoman.
I mean, I just think there's no better theme right now because times are crazy out there. Um, this shit is crazy. I mean, I think we all get to be really active right now in all seriousness. I mean, I feel like I haven't done enough. It's easy for us to beat ourselves up around not doing enough. And then we feel bad, and so it's like bringing in the idea of like, this gets to be joyful. It gets to be pleasurable. Adrienne Marie Brown put out her book on pleasure activism last year. I've been recommending it to everyone. I've got one of my groups reading it right now. So I just felt like, let's really bring that in as the theme, and I think of it from a couple of different points of view, and she writes about it so beautifully. And then of course her book is a collection of a lot of different people that have written about it in many
Mm-hmm.
ways. It's not a new concept, but it's one that we get to talk about a lot more.
Yeah.
And I love that she has really brought this forward. And, in thinking about like, it gets to be joyful, like seeking liberation is a joyful act, right? I mean,
Yes.
liberation by nature is joyful. Like if it's heavy and dark and like that's there's something that's missing, it's not probably really liberation. And so I
Mm.
think like we're in such a time when we're really fighting for liberation in a very big way, certainly for Black lives in particular, and for all of us to I think just really raise the consciousness of our country, of the way that it's like everybody gets to win and there's pleasure in everyone winning. I mean, that's the vision I have. It's like I want to see our leaders be people that aren't trying to do these power grabs where it's like I just want to hoard my power and be over here with all of my toys and I'm not going to share them with you, and really create a culture where like everyone is cared for. Like this
Mm-hmm.
is not like an unusual idea or concept. But in this country, it seems to be very far-fetched, the way that our politics have become so divisive. And so, I, as many people, are taking this election season very seriously. This is a very serious, very big time. And so the more well-resourced we are, the more we're taking care of ourselves, the more that we have to contribute. And so we purposely planned it like a week and a half before the election. We will be meeting for firewomen. And, I want it to be an opportunity to really hone the energy together. There's such a power in bringing together that collective energy for good, for what we want to envision in the world.
Yeah, and I really I like that. I like what you said really about like us all taking care of each other, because I really found like at the Firewoman retreat, like we all just kind of we all contributed to each other's well-being, right? So if someone had a story, or someone was feeling some type of way, or someone was feeling whatever they were feeling, everybody was able to sort of cultivate it, just listen, just really like listen or problem solve, or it was a really great, it was sort of like strategizing for pleasure, and I think that was really inspirational for me, because like I like to think of myself as a sexual strategist, right? Like thinking about like what am I pulling in here or there or there or there to ensure that I'm getting the pleasure that I need, and my lovers are getting the pleasure that they need. What are the things that need to happen in order for everybody to be happy and hopeful in the situation? And yeah, elections are stressful. I oof, yeah, for me, I'm just kind of like I have the TV off. I can't even I can't even right now. Like I just don't even want to think about things. And so when it comes to politics, and I heard a brief moment of the debate yesterday, and I was like, I can't. I just like turned it off. So I think that's important, to just really take care of ourselves, and yeah, really focus and hone in on our pleasure, and make sure that we're getting what we need. And so I'm happy to be teaching. Last time I did dirty talk, and so this time I'm going to be doing some sexy impact play. So it's called Ignite Your Impact Play. I was like, I had to go with the firewoman theme, and so I'm excited about like bringing about like impact pet play. What does that mean? I've been getting a lot of questions lately, in particular, about kind of diving into kink. And I it's so funny, because I think when you're in this world, you're engulfed, right, in the sexuality education world. We kind of take for granted that like not everybody knows all of these things. And
Yeah.
so then there's the ebb and flow of people who are coming to me now that are saying like, hey, I want to learn more. I want to like, I don't feel confident in it. What are the things that I need to do to be better? Or I want to go into this, but like, I'm a little scared. And I think it's really helpful to be like, hey, let's start from the basics, right? So you can know what you need to do in order to gain that confidence, in order to gain some practice, so you really can make sure that you're doing things not only correctly, but in a way that's going to bring you pleasure. And I think also you're also bringing in the archetypes, the sexual archetypes. And so I'm really excited about that, because that's something you've traditionally done in person.
Yeah.
And so tell me, I guess, more about the archetypes, and like what people have learned from them in the past.
What I love about the sexual archetype ritual is that it's different every time, because we've never had the same group of people coming in to play the archetype. So we bring in people, and you're going to play one this time. We bring in people who are educators, or can at least speak really knowledgeably about that particular archetype. And, generally would have some experience with it. And so they come in, and so it's this live representation of an archetype, right? Because we're all familiar with archetypes. And so what I mean when I say that, sexually, archetypes might be anything from like, the victim to the prostitute sex worker to the butch to the empowered submissive to the cougar, the femme fatale, the wild woman. So we have all these archetypes that kind of run the gamut. The wife is a very big archetype, the mother. And so different people come in every time and play them differently, so it's like it's so fun to watch them be embodied in different ways. And of course, over the years, I have had people that love it so much, they'll come back and play the same role over and over, which I also love, because then there's like this familiarity that happens. Like Triamaka played the cougar for three firewomen in a
Nice.
row, because she was just enjoying that, that the power of that. And then also things then started to happen in her life related to that. So play the one you want to play.
Okay. you start putting it in the world. That's what's gonna happen.
I mean, I think that is the power of theater, right? It's a really powerful way to vision something. So, but yeah, then it's an opportunity for the participants. They kind of get to know these archetypes, and they get to talk to them in real time and sort of like explore that archetype in themselves, and where that might live in them, or what their relationship to it has been, or maybe gets to be in the future. So it opens up a lot for people. It satisfies a ton of curiosity, where they just get to ask questions. I mean, traditionally, I would say I've been doing this for 10 years, and we didn't do the butch the first maybe couple. And then I was like, oh, we got to add the butch. Like, that needs to be in there. And then, I mean, it would be just like swarms of people around the butch. Like,
I bet.
I want to understand all the things. But yeah, at different firewomen's, there's like different ones really appeal. It's
Mhm.
not like everyone's on the goddess, or everyone's
Right.
on the towel, or and the victim is a really important one, because I think we all have a victim inside of us, and many of us have been victimized in different ways. And so really getting to look at how that might be still showing up in our lives in unintended ways, or ways that
Mhm.
don't serve us. So I feel like there's a lot of healing that gets to happen through many of the archetypes as well. A lot of tears sometimes, a lot of like ahas. And actually, the last time we did it live, we had two archetypes that met together. What was it? It was the prude and the wild woman. We had the prude and the wild woman. Literally, the woman playing the prude was having an epiphany about the wild woman, and she and the wild woman had this huge exchange where the prude got to like tear off her prudeness and really embrace her wild woman. And it was authentic. It was real. It wasn't, they weren't playing. It was real. So it
Wow.
was super powerful. So it always impacts not just the participants, but the actors, the people playing those roles always learn a ton as well. So it's really interesting and fun, and it's sacred theater. So
Yeah, I love that. It reminds me, I when I was in college, I did theater and I played a prostitute. I had a monologue as a prostitute. And I remember the director who had casted me for the role was just like, well, fascinated by my bald head and was like, I've never had a bald prostitute before. Like, this is amazing. But I just really enjoyed, well, I love theater anyway, but I just really enjoyed just sort of embodying that and having people respond in a way that's like, huh, this is different, or had questions or any of those things. So I'm super, super excited about all of these different archetypes. And um, I'm so curious as to like who's gonna be whom, and on all the different archetypes. But what are there some teachers coming back, and some? I mean, I know I'm coming back, and Sophia Wise One, right, is coming back. Are there other teachers that are coming back and that are coming back for October?
yeah, you and Sophia and Sunny Megatron are all coming back. And then we've got some new teachers teaching. I think Anahita June is going to be with us. Isabella Frappier is going to be doing rope play. She did teach it a couple of years ago at a live Fire Women retreat. Gosh, who else? They're not all on. I should have them up in front of me.
Got, sorry, I didn't mean to put you on the spot.
No, it's good. Oh, actually, Kathy Bartuli is going to come and
okay.
And teach genital something about genital stimulation and fun for the shy. How to play with all the genitals. So that's happening. My friend Shazia Imam is coming to teach.
Oh yeah.
She was at the last Fire Women. Yeah, we're going to do, Eva Clay is also coming back. She's going to teach seduction skills this time, which I know is also your forte.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so we've got a really beautiful roster of teachers, some new teachers and some folks coming back. So yeah, I love the co-creation of it. I love the erotic carnival. It's so much fun. And yeah, you just did your Sex Down South where you had, a different kind of version of that, more conference style, where people could go in and learn from different teachers. And yeah, so this is, I think Fire Women is like, it's like intimate, there's like an intimacy to it, and the opportunity to like go into these rooms and really learn from teachers, and for ourselves. And I think that that's the thing that I think a lot of cis women in particular, and I think a lot of heterosexual women in particular, need more permission for, is to just get to learn for the sake of themselves without the pressure of a partner. I think there's a lot of skills people want to learn, but they don't know how or where, or they feel so nervous to go to an event, like a big conference or something. And so I think, it really affords people that opportunity to just learn in a way that takes the pressure off.
Yeah.
People really need that. I don't know what you've seen with your folks, but I've seen a lot of like,
yeah,
okay, it's gonna be okay.
No, I mean, that's what I loved about Fire Woman, was just because it was sort of, it did take the pressure off of people because people were viewing. And I know with my dirty talk, people were practicing and they were getting into it, and it felt really encouraging for them. And I remember, Sex Down South at the very beginning, actually the year that you came as a sex celeb, we really, which I think is our first year, we really wanted these sort of education stations, which are very similar to the erotic carnival. Like, we really wanted people to just like go practice this thing, then go practice that thing, and go practice this thing. And maybe we need to bring those back one of these days, but I really love the idea of just sort of learn, practice, no pressure or low pressure situations, so that people can really just, get comfortable and know that they could possibly implement this without, feeling some type of way, So.
Yeah, I think it's like getting to do something that's more experiential, more hands-on, but like for themselves, where it's not like a partner is like anticipating and waiting and, okay, do it right, or am I going to do it right? So yeah, so it's more than just being taught verbally, but like they get to engage. And I loved that. I got to peek into your dirty talk session, and I loved getting to watch you. Like, you're so good with people, just making people feel really comfortable and open. And I watched all the women really, and non-binary folk who were there, just really open up, because there was such a comfort level. So, and that's super, super important for, I think, all of these environments. So something that you're really good at.
Yeah, cultivating intimacy through the computer it's not easy, but I think, now that we've like sort of done these festivals and we're getting really acclimated into it, I think it's easier now to really to connect and feel good about the virtual connection. Because I know, even though I had been doing video calls, for a while now, it's like it's a whole separate thing when you create the safe container, and you're like, and I love the fact that you're like, okay, everybody has to have their video on, like video on, like we all need to be present. And that helps a lot tremendously for someone like me who's an extrovert, who's like, I need to see people's faces, I need to see their reactions, or else I'm going to be like, who am I talking to? But I think you do a really amazing job of cultivating that intimacy and making sure that people are comfortable, and comfortable with sharing, comfortable with doing, comfortable with, diving into places that are hurting too, and come into that healing. So, yeah, I thank you so much for inviting me back to be a part of it. And yeah, I can't wait. I'm excited.
I am too. I can't wait too. Yeah. So come join us. Come join us, folks. October 22nd through the 25th. We did a really beautiful opening ceremony last time that we just opened to everyone, even if people were not registered. People who identify as a woman or non-binary are welcome. And so, yeah, we're doing that again on October 22nd. So that is free for all. And we can definitely post a link for that as well. But yeah, if what we're talking about sounds juicy and fun to you, which why wouldn't it? Come join us. We would love to have you. So
yeah, so make sure you make a comment and click on the link, if you're interested in attending. If you have any questions, you can feel free to email me. So yeah, thank you so much, Imagine, and we'll talk soon.
sounds good.
All right, bye.